Don't blink, it's your boy Yank. Welcome to the show. Because you guys are doing well because are having a wonderful day, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever you want to call it. I hope that you're having one. Today we're doing a video that is Tokyo Ghoul recap from 46 to 50. And in between, we're going to add a 46.5 and we're going to add a bonus. So, without further ado, let's freaking go. We have the defeat of the gourmet. It's kind of crazy because, see, I'm being critical because a lot of movies that I saw today. Oh, I forgot what movie I wanted to watch. Give me a sec, guys. Give me a sec. Because we just finished. We're doing like this is that video of a 2 hours plus making videos, and there's some thoughts that I had, some ideas that I had, but not necessarily wrote them down, so I have to remember them. Okay, so the 46 we have. It's funny because I saw the movie today, and those movie weren't so great, so I'm being critical, and because of that, I did read Tokyo Ghoul today because most of the video that I did today was kind of critical of movie that I saw. I've been a bit critical about that, but at the same time, it is fantastic. So the 46, they spend the whole time saying, "Oh, Tuka she doesn't have the best Kagune against the gourmet," and the funny part is, the absolute funny part is that the Kagune of Tuka is very special, very kind of broken. But there's a saving grace of the chapters because technically speaking, it would be a battle between Tuka and the gourmet, and we know the difference here is actually quite simple. The gourmet might be stronger, his Kaguri might be stronger, but does he train? That we don't know. There's a saving grace where we learn that gourmet kept his appetite up, that way he could eat Kaneki and one shot, so that may be why he gets defeated. But on paper, gourmet is stronger than Tuka. There's a multiple reason for that, and it's nuts. It's nuts because we learned it in this five. I wanna really binge. I would really wanna pursue that point because I feel like it's important. See, these five chapters are not only phenomenal, not only critical to the story, but they're probably some of the most important part of Tokyo Ghoul, not Tokyo Ghoul Re Tokyo Ghoul, and because they're some of the most important part, it's really important that we establish what's going on. You know, see, and I think it's wait a second. Okay, perfect. And 49, chapter 49, which in three chapters is gonna have the reason why the gourmet. So there's a lot of more dove, right, that coming on, and they keep talking about two ghouls. Talking about the binge eater, which was Rize. Talking about the gourmet, which was I don't remember his name, but the reality is it's kind of complicated because there's possibly a lot more ghouls, but since these are the two only ghouls that we see in the story so far, this is good. See, they didn't add Nishi, they didn't add the Antiku owner, they had the rabbit, but the rabbit we don't know her identity, right? And the rabbit we know is Tuka. And the beautiful thing about this is I'm reading a lot of anime and comics at the same time, and one of them is One Piece, and the One Piece has a very similar technique for or way of showing the strength. And the way of showing strength in One Piece is by bounty, right? So the bounty is the bigger of a threat the pirate is, the stronger he is the bigger the bounty. And with the goal, the most dangerous a goal is, the more she is in the bounty board. So we have she defeat it's she defeated the gourmet. We have a really touching scene with Tuka and Kimi, which is again the girlfriend of Nishi, and it's kind of fun because this moment goosebump. The first time I read this, I cried like a baby. Second time I read this, I cried like a baby. The third time, I'm like, ugh, still hurts like a bitch. But we had the moment where she's there, and Kimi is being very acceptive of Goal. And the nicest thing is Kimi, her wanting to die and being saved by the person who could have preyed on her. See, the reality, which I didn't portray yesterday enough, the reality of Kimi is, and I'll be completely fair, I'll be completely honest, I fucked up. But the reality of Kimi isn't a reality that you're gonna understand on your first read or on your second read. That's not something you're gonna understand. Kimi, the problem with Kimi is she served a good purpose in the first half of Tokyo Ghoul, but then after that you barely hear about her, and I don't like character like that. I do like Kimi as a character, but I don't character like that, where you're so important but then you disappear, right? And you're not dead. They just don't write you in. I have a big problem with that, and I think because of that, I tend to dismiss Kimi. But Kimi reality is amazing. Kimi reality is, yes, Nishi is a ghoul, but he saves her. So he had a choice between killing her, and she would have okay with him killing her, but now he didn't kill her. And it's funny because this is such an important moment. This chapter for Nishi is so important. So you see, it's very deep dive, and this is when you understand how much I love Tokyo Ghoul. See, we have Ken Kaneki. We're going back to chapter 30. We have Ken Kaneki. In Ken Kaneki fight against this dove, which is Amon, and the importance of the fight is Ken saying, "I do not want to kill you. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to kill you. In a perfect world, we're fighting, but we're both going home with the least amount of injury possible." So Nishi was able to do that, was able to prove that human and ghoul coexist. Now, is Nishi still gonna eat meat? And we'll see. Is Kimi gonna betray the ghoul, which is Nishi? It's okay. But in this very chapter, we have the most powerful statement. The most powerful statement. We have Kimi saying, "I'm okay if Nishi ends up biting me, ends up eating me. I'm okay with that. I'm prepared for that." And then we have Nishi, who says one of the most tear-jerking arguments in the whole show. Something that will break your heart. Nishi says, "I know she can betray me. I know she can report me to the dove and they'll hunt me down. But she's worth being betrayed for." And it's powerful. It wouldn't be powerful for Tuka. It wouldn't be powerful for Ken. I don't think it would be powerful for anybody else but Nishi. Because again, his sister was betrayed. And why it's so powerful is because his sister was betrayed by a lover, and then Nishi is in the exact same position, falling in love with a human. It's like his sister was. And you understand that Nishi understands his sister. And the sad part about this is Nishi for the longest time resented his sister. He was like, "Oh, you're so stupid. You're so fucking stupid. You knew about that." And the worst thing is his sister, later on we learned that his sister, not only did she leave money behind for the I'm sorry guys. We learned that not only did his sister leave money behind for him to go to school, but she also had to deal with Enteku to take care of Nishi. You know? And it's sad because Nishi grew up to not necessarily hate his sister, but be angry at her for what she did, for how stupid she was to get sacrificed. That is the reason why he didn't go to Anteku. So all of this problem would have been solved. You know? And Nishi, like I said, I said that before, but Nishi is possibly one of my favorite characters. But it's possibly one of my favorite characters because he lives at the edge of the ghoul society. So at the edge of the ghoul society, we have a couple characters. We have the ghoul, the gourmet. Right now we have the gourmet. We have Rize and we have Nishi. The gourmet was an asshole. Rize was an asshole. Nishi was the only one of the three. I was like, I'm not gonna eat at Anteku, and I'm gonna try not to kill. So it's really, really important. But it doesn't matter. Tuka says she has to die because she knows. And then it's Ken that comes in and says, "Tuka, I'm sorry guys. Tokyo Ghoul is extremely emotional. Extremely emotional. There's a part of me that, I said that before, but there's a part of me that remember how I was feeling the first time I read it. The first time I read it where I was in complete depression. There's a part of me that remember that moment. There's a part of me that remember how painful, how much in pain I was. And this is just beautiful. Tuka wants to kill her because she wants to protect Nishi and she wants to protect Ken. And the most beautiful thing is she doesn't want to kill Kimi to eat her. She just want to kill Kimi because she's afraid. That is the beauty of Tuka, which is a ghoul who could kill and say, "Hey, I killed." See, I say it's also a testament. It's also a testament to real life. I'm eating meat. I eat meat. Would I kill an animal to eat meat? I don't know. If I saw an animal in pain, would I kill it? The answer is yes. That's what Tuka does. Kimi isn't in pain, but and also Tuka, it's a beautiful thing because Tuka doesn't want Kimi to have to go through choosing between her human side and her partner. But then it's Ken that stops her. Ken tells her, "Hey, listen, we're the same way. I have Edie as a best friend, and your best friend is a cook. She's a human. You know, we're both taking big risk." And it sucks because you're gonna see why it sucks so bad about Tuka. Yeah, 46.5, which is amazing. We have a bit of the Rize backstory, right? So the 46.5 is a chapter, is a special chapter, and we have a little bit of the Rize backstory. And what I really enjoy here is for the first time since the very beginning, we have a backstory of a character that is no longer there. He is no longer there. So the fact that the writer is like, you know what, we'll do a half chapter for this is amazing. We have this bit of the Rize backstory. I'm saying a bit because the ultimate thing is way further. It's way beyond or above that. It's I think it's end of re beginning of re I don't remember, but yeah, so we have a bit of Rize's story, how she was a gourmet, how she didn't care, how she was always starving, how she didn't like the rules, she didn't like, and it's funny because she saw she saw people and she's like, no, I don't care about getting eaten. And gold that was in her way, it was getting killed. But the best part of the chapter isn't even Rize. To a certain degree, Rize is a good character because she doesn't give a fuck about being a ghoul. So Rize backstory is important because she's like the gourmet. Most people in Tokyo Ghoul that are ghouls are gonna say, "Well, I'm a ghoul. This is a curse." Rize and the gourmet are kind of the only, well, apart from the nest, and the nest there's a lot of them, but some of the only early character that are like, you know what, being a ghoul is awesome. And Rize is like, I'm the superior race, and if other people don't understand that, that's their problem. I have more food. It's also a cool thing because we see the government and we saw the effort of the government of the ghoul. So the ghoul have a kind of a government where they give out territory where they can hunt. They give out territory where okay, so you don't kill those people, you don't kill a family, you kill if you need to eat. You're allowed one kill per amount of period. That way the human don't see, because if the human starts seeing some ghoul, it's gonna think everybody's a ghoul, right? And because everybody's a ghoul, then my neighbor might be a ghoul, so it raises suspicion, and if it raises suspicion, then you're not allowed a margin of error. For example, I'm watching this show, also Dexter. And Dexter, I'm watching the show where the Trinity killers pushes the victim out of building, but it make it look like they jump off a building, right? Now he makes a mistake on one of the body, and because he makes a mistake on one of the body, they discover that they were being pushed, and now they're asking themselves if every single one of those deaths was pushed or was a unlife attempt. So the government goal is like, yo, you're killing too many people, they're never gonna come here. And the nicest part is when they confront Tuka, like, you really fucked us over. Now they're gonna come here, they're gonna kill everybody. And the funniest thing, the craziest thing is, and that is the brilliance of Sui Ishida, which is the writer of Tokyo Ghoul. He's a genius in my book. The greatest thing that he does is he end the backstory meeting with Rize meeting Ken, meaning that she did go to the 20 yard, meaning that this is when the story begins. But it also shows the 11th ward being completely out of order. Now, one of the best things that happened is in this chapters or the next one, or 50, the chapter 50, we have the ghoul, which is originally from the 11th sector ward. saying that this world was completely overtaken by the nest. So the answer with the nest, I'm gonna spoil it. I'm gonna spoil you guys, but it's not a big spoiler, and it's an amazing spoiler. So the more it's insane. That's the brilliance of that duality between the ghoul and the dove. So the more killing of human there is, the more doves are gonna come, and the more killing of doves of ghoul that are, the more of the nests are gonna come. So the nest. What is the nest? I think it's important to justify the nest. The nests are a bunch of ghouls coming together to say, hey, we're not gonna fuck with humans. We're gonna kill if we need to eat. We're living our way. They're like a nomad. They're gonna be like, yo, if we need to kill to eat, we're gonna kill to eat. We're not gonna kill for no reason. But also, if we need to kill, we'll kill. And it's like the nest. The beauty of the nest is it's ghouls that are willing to go against the dove, because right now the doves are hunting ghouls and ghouls aren't fighting back. So that's the beauty of it. And the best thing about the nest is, don't pick up a fight with us. Don't pick up a fight with us. We're good. If you do pick up a fight with us, you're done. So the nest are really a strong, and it's funny because when I see the nest, I think about the Ghostly 13, which is it's the squadron of the Soul Society, and you're seeing them often interfere into Ishigo's battle, but most of the time it's like, yo, Ishigo, you're good. Okay, we don't need to interfere. We have 47. We have a brand new arc, which is multiple months after. We got Nishi who joins the Antiku, right? We have following where I'm on. We have a following of both the ghoul, where basically, okay, so we got Tukata is sad. We're gonna see why she's sad after. We have Nishi joining the Antiku, and sadly, this is pretty much it for the goal. So it's kind of crazy because you spend so much time, and I understand that writer, you spend so much time writing about goals, and your pace is so fast that you have whole fucking story going on with the goals, but you don't talk about the dove. So this chapter is more about the dove, right? We have the confirmation of the two students where we know they were ghouls. We don't know they were Kaneki and Tuka. You guys remember when they infiltrate to give bad information, right? And it's funny because we have Mado who told Amon, "Yo, these are ghouls," and Amon didn't believe Mado, but then it was the best. He was right, He was right. Mado was right. We have a new dove. We have two new doves, technically. We have Taizawa. A lot of people do not like Taizawa for obvious reason. I fucking adore this character. Taizawa, to me, is one of the most interesting doves there is. It possibly goes Amon, and then Taizawa. Taizawa is phenomenal because of what he becomes. I'm not gonna spoil that. This is too much of a thing to spoil. Because if I spoil this, it's gonna be spoiling the whole story. But he's very interesting, and we have another kid, which is Juzo, and Juzo is also a very important goal. A lot of people really like Juzo. I don't. I think he's a bit too much out there. We're gonna see why in chapter 50. We're gonna see why in chapter 48. Actually, we have the it's nice because Judo right away, the way he's introduced is amazing. You introduce the character and he bumps into Ken, and then he tells Ken you have a good smell. So you think the guy is actually a ghoul, but then you see him with the dove and like, holy shit, this guy's a dove, and he kills another dove, which is really nice. We have it's the dove who are trying to move in on the 20th ward, which is where our story take place. It's a pretty good chapters, right? We have the warning of Ken that Rize isn't never existed. So basically, we know as a viewer, because we saw it in the bonus episode, that Rize changed word and changed her name, but this is a time where Ken know that Rize had to change name. And it's funny because he went to get information on why Rize was killed, right? And the answer, she couldn't answer him. She didn't give him the answer because fuck Ken. She was like, I'm not gonna tell you why, but it wasn't a real name. If you understand why she had to change name, you understand why she was killed. So I'm helping you. I'm giving you I'm not giving you the answer. We have the 48th, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very dove focused chapter, right? And we have a really funny bonus. The bonus are nice because they don't add a lot to the story, but they're funny. For example, we have the mask of the gourmet, which is a moon, right? And he uses it as a boomerang. That's funny. It's a really cool little thing. It's not interesting. You could skip it, but I think it's funny. So we have that. We have the explication. Oh, explication. More than French. We had the explaining of why the 11th word ended and why is the nest. We're introducing some major dove, and what I love about this chapter is we kind of introduce Juzo and kind of introduce Taizawa, and if it wasn't for Taizawa, nobody would give a shit. Because this chapter we introduce two major dove. I'm gonna give you guys a spoiler. These are the strongest dove there is. So the strength of a dove is, of course, the strength of the character is instinct of fighting ghoul. It's a fighting ability. But those two are a mark above because they were able to kill S rank ghoul. Because they were able to kill S rank ghoul, they have S rank weapon to fight ghouls. And because they have S rank weapon, right, even if they're skillful, see, I'm gonna give you an example, right? We have Juzo, who actually killed a couple of ghouls, but the ghouls that he killed were super weak, so the weapon that he has is super weak. So even though he is quite skillful, his weapon is shit. These two, they have amazing weapon and they're quite skillful. We have a really cool thing where you understand that they're Titan in the fight for the ghouls, but they were all partnered to Mado. So the first one was the first partner to Mado, and the second one was the second partner to Mado, and that's why it's so cool because they see Amon, and this is something I really like. See, the story is so good because you portray the writer, the viewer, the writer will portray Mado as this crazy guy, the viewer because he was portrayed as this crazy guy, you think he's a crazy guy, but he was actually a genius. He's one of the best dove there is. See, the dove Mado, which is the ex-partner of Amon, trained the first one we saw, the first major dove, the second major dove, right? And we have the third major dove, which is Amon, the third partner. I have to charge the phone at my 2%. Give me a quick second. Okay, well, we're gonna have to film like that. I'm sorry, but hey. So yeah, so it's super interesting that we have Amon, and what I really enjoy, what I really like, is those two dove held Mado in such a regard that just knowing that Amon was one of the partner of Mado, like, oh yo, this kid is skillful, so they already respect him, and it's kind of cool because it's kind of cool, but in a bad way. Those two respect Amon because he was a partner of Mado. Amon respect those two because they're easy way to go up the rank. We have we have they were all partners of Mado. We have the kids once again being super, so we have Juzo, which is super abnormal. Again, it is kind of cool because the thing with Juzo is why is such a weird guy so high up in the dove. You don't really know why until you do. And Juzo's actually quite a sad story. When you understand it, it's quite a sad story. But yeah, it's there's a good reason. Okay, I'm gonna put it like this. There's a really good reason why Juzo is so crazy. There's a really good reason. But when you do learn the reason, it is so late that you're already used to Juzo being a complete mess. Now, either you like that complete mess or either you don't like that complete mess, but you come to accept it. And for example, right, if I do something wrong to you, and then 3 years after, I'm like, hey bro, I did it to you, but you already knew. Like, I appreciate the excuse, but I didn't know, and I don't care. So Juzo is that. It's I'm doing wrong to you, and then I'm explaining, oh, this is why he's like that. We have the chapter 49, which is the dove that are having a meeting. Kind of cool because we're preferring you can tell in the meeting that they're prepping to move, right? We have a the Antiku, and this is coming back to Antiku for the first time in like 3 chapters, and we have the Antiku talking about how there's a war coming on. So it's kind of cool because that's Tokyo Ghoul itself. A lot of people will mistake Tokyo Ghoul as a story of ghouls, but it's also a story of doves. So it is the constant war, and the fact that we have a war here is actually quite important. We have a war. Okay, so why do we have a war? Why are we like that? Why is this going on? How do I fix it? What side is the? Because again, right now we have the. So the story started with the ghouls having some sort of power, the dove having some sort of power. It was a balance. But now, what if those power were facing each other? Who would win? And I think that's important because basically, who wins is gonna be the upper hand, right? So we have the dove. We have the comeback of Banjo in the Antiku. Banjo is a guy that met Rize in the 11th Ward. Is a super important character to Ken, but I don't especially like Banjo. Like, to me, I'm not gonna say why. There's a shift in Ken. There's a shift in the character of Ken very, very soon. And Banjo is like, okay, there's a shift in Ken. I respect you. You're the leader. I'm not gonna tell you why, but Ken becomes a leader. And Banjo feels boring. But the character of Banjo is nice. Is really nice. But the character of Banjo is nice. Okay, let's put it like that, right? The concept of Banjo is nice. The character isn't. I know it's complicated, but trust me. So we have Ken who see Tuka who is feeling sad. So if Tuka is feeling sad because she realized that Nishi, right? Nishi has this perfect relationship, and Tuka is very, very sensitive, very emotional. So she feels bad about lying to her friend, but then again, if her friend knew, would she snitch? So Tuka is such a masterfully written. Tuka believes in herself. Oh, ghouls and human kind of coexist. I have this best friend, but if she knew, I have to kill her. And there's no asking why. There's no possible other way. I have to kill her. Well, not necessarily, because Nishi proved that human and ghoul can coexist. And because Nishi is able to prove that, then Tuka says, what about me? Could I be best friend and can I tell her the secret? But she doesn't know the answer. And she's afraid that if she doesn't, she'll have to kill the best friend. So instead of having a fatality, she has a maybe. And that maybe is very, very, very hard. We have 50. We have Banjo was in love with Rize, right? We have, okay, so that's kind of cool. That is super, super cool. Chapter 50, not my favorite, but absolutely cool. We have Banjo. So now we can finally talk about why I like Banjo. Banjo was his character. Banjo is, okay. Banjo was the leader of the 11th Ward. But the only reason he was a leader was because Rize killed the other leader. So he wasn't chosen to be there. He wasn't elected to be there. It just was there because there was nobody else. The problem with Banjo is very weak. So when Rize was around, it was a problem because she would kill every single human. However, there was a stronger ghoul that came in to disrupt the balance. So see, Rize was pro having a balance between human and ghoul, but was like, I want to have a balance, but I also want to eat everybody. And Banjo was weak, but it's like, okay, well, if you're weak, I know Rize, you really want to fuck with Rize? You're like, no, please don't. So yeah, so that's the power of Banjo. But Banjo is the picture. Okay, Banjo is the picture perfect leader. Banjo is the picture perfect leader with no power to lead. Banjo is a picture perfect leader without the power to execute order. So you think about it, and it's like I have this court. Well, for example, right, the kings had an advisor. This advisor was a better leader than the king, but the king had the power. Banjo is like that. What is value, the way he sees life, the way he sees society, is really good. But it doesn't amount to shit if you don't move forward. The problem with Banjo. We have another guy which is part of the nest. I don't know why, but I'm not gonna tell you why. And we realize that he has the same family name as Tuka, which is super important in this story. We have the mess moving, and it's kind of cool because after the chapter is the nest moving, and the other half of the chapter uh is the dove moving in. And the kind of cool reason for the nest moving is they're after Rize because she did too much problem, but Rize is already a problem. Now, in this chapter, there's a secret moment that is super important. They're after Rize. But when Banjo comes in and he smells Ken Kaneki, it's like, you smell like Rize. Yeah. Now, if you remember how I told you that Rize changed her name? What if they didn't know what she looked like? What if they didn't know she was a girl? Then they would think that Ken was a gourmet. That's a problem. So yeah, we had a really sweet part where that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I was gonna say sweet part because I wrote notes, but I'm gonna repeat myself. So anywho, amazing chapter, amazing video. They love you, that you matter. I'll see you guys soon. Take it easy. Peace.